Welcome back to another essential recap. Today we will look at a story called The House of the Devil. Sometime in the 1980s, some people believe that some cult association exists, and some still believe it to date. Here is another movie that portrays them. A young school student by the name of Samantha is broke and looking for money. She needs a home, so she goes home hunting, and she finds a great apartment. The landlady tells her she is the best candidate for that room because she looks like her daughter, and her gut feeling tells her Samantha is a good person, at least compared to the person that came for the house that morning. She tells Samantha that her gut feeling never deceives her, and she is sure Samantha will be a good tenant. As the landlady walks away, Samantha asks what her deposit should be, but the lady tells her she doesn't need the deposit. She can waive the deposit for Samantha, and the only thing required is the first month's payment, and she should come that Monday for the payment. It's Wednesday, and Samantha has no money, and she is to pay the first month's payment by Monday. She walks back to her dorm with a heavy heart and knocks on her room, but she hears her roommate, Heather, moaning to a man's touch, so she walks away absent-mindedly. Samantha goes towards the notice board in front of her dormitory, where she sees a flyer looking for a babysitter. You can assume it's an excellent opportunity for her, so she cuts off the number and goes to the nearest phone booth to call the number. She sends her message through voicemail and asks the man to call her room number. However, as she walks away, she hears the phone booth ring. She returns to pick up the call, and it turns out to be the hirer. She is shocked at how the man got the phone booth number, and he tells her that if she is interested, she should urgently meet him in front of the student affairs office. You can guess how excited she is. She enters her dormitory to pick something and leaves mindlessly, not even considering her roommate and the moaning boyfriend. She goes to the front of student affairs and lies there waiting for the man. Unfortunately, he stands her up, and after waiting for several minutes, she leaves and goes to meet her friend Megan. Megan is so excited to see how her new house is and asks her to explain the details of the house. She describes it as much as possible before telling Megan that she will see it when she packs into the place. Samantha bows her head in concern because of the rent. Megan reassures her that she will get the money to pay the rent, but Samantha asks her how. She tells her dear friend that even if she doesn't get the money, Megan will call her father to get some money for her, but Samantha refuses the offer. Megan reminds her the suggestion is far-fetched and there is still time. However, even if she doesn't get it by Monday, she won't be homeless. Then Megan talks about the man who stands her up and tells Samantha they should go around the school and find all the flyers the man has put up. Then they will destroy it all. Samantha refuses the suggestion. She tells Megan that she doesn't want issues. Megan tries to encourage her to get another job, but Samantha insists the babysitting job is simple. I mean, she isn't wrong though. Sarcastically, Megan says probably the baby is from hell and even reminds her of her dislike for babies and asks Samantha to cheer up. They leave the cafe, and Samantha returns to her dormitory. She lies on her bed, looking at how scattered the room is and how her roommate lies like a dead person. She leaves to wash her face, and by the time she returns, Heather has woken up. Heather tells her she received a call from a man earlier that day, and the man dropped a number, so the number is on Samantha's table. Samantha is so excited she starts looking for the number. Excitedly, she gets the number and calls the man. The man apologizes for standing her up that day and says it's because he had a lot of last-minute deals that he had to sort out. He also got someone for the job, but the lady is disappointed, so he needs Samantha to please come over that night for the babysitting job. She hesitates at first, with no other reason but for the risks, but the man offers to pay her ×2 of their original agreement, which is $100. For a broke college student with the first month's rent to pay in 4 days, I can assure you it is a jackpot. She calls Megan to pick her up, and in the car, they keep listening to a radio station about the eclipse of the sun happening that night. Samantha checks Megan's back seat and sees all the flyers of her employee. Just as Megan has advised earlier, Megan has removed all the flyers. She says she doesn't know if the man will call her back, and what the man has done is weird, so she is sorry. Megan, however, admits that something seems super weird, but Samantha says for the family to be living in that part of the city, then they are privileged and sane. Megan laughs at her. She tells her that if she thinks everyone rich is sane, then she has never met her family, but they conclude that the instant they see or notice anything weird in that house, they will leave immediately. With this right in mind, they arrive at the home, and the man, Mr. Ullman, welcomes them. He gives some wicked expression as he sees Megan and trusts the ever-cheerful Megan to dwell on it. Megan keeps asking him questions as regards to his profession, first asking if he is a teacher, then next asking if he is an astronaut. Ullman asks to see Samantha in a private room, angrily tells her he can't pay for 2 people, and Samantha replies that Megan is going. I don't know, but I think Samantha is unusually too careless with this situation. As she says Megan is going, the man breathes in relief and tells her she doesn't know how much favor she is doing for him. She replies that it's not too stressful, but Ullman tells her he has no child. Well, not like he has no child, he has a child that needs babysitting, and the person he has put the flyer up for is his wife's mother. And they need her to stay with the woman overnight. Samantha tells him she doesn't have the experience for such duty, but Ullman begs her. He tells her he has kept adverts out for weeks looking for an adult sitter, but no one applied, so he decides to ask for a babysitter, and the person he got backed out after she got to know of the situation. He offers to pay her $200, that's twice, and she refuses. He increases it to $300, but she refuses again. He asks how much she wants, and she asks for $400. This is so awkward. I wonder why and how Samantha doesn't see the awkwardness. She returns to Megan and tells Megan to leave. Megan insists that the offer is super weird and they should just leave, but Samantha tells her the money will pay her first month rent and she no doubt needs the money. With no other choice, Megan leaves. Frustrated about all that has happened, poor Megan stops her car by the woods to smoke. She winds her window down, and a man appears to her. The man offers her a lighter, which she takes with an innocent mind. He asks her if she is the sitter and immediately says she is the sitter's friend. He shoots her and drives her car away. Meanwhile in the house, Ullman goes to call his wife after telling Samantha how her duty will go. He tells her she needs not to do anything as his mother-in-law is a Gile. She should enjoy herself and call the phone number in the house just in case she needs pizza. He calls his wife, who tries to familiarize herself with Samantha before they leave. As they leave, Samantha calls Megan's number, but the number keeps directing to a voice call. She gets disturbed and asks Megan to call her. If only she knew her dear friend is dead. She puts her mind at rest that Megan is probably fine and then calls for the pizza delivery company. Then she starts dancing around the house. She mistakenly breaks a flower vase and goes upstairs to find a packer to pack it. She sees the fur Mrs. Ullman said was underground and finds a family picture taken in front of that house, and the family in the picture isn't the Ullman. She takes a knife and attempts to check the house. She goes to the room they told her the mother-in-law is in and asks if she is needed through the door. In the room we see the 3 corpses, which are the real owner of that family. She attempts to call 911, but the pizza delivery man arrives. The same man that killed Megan delivered her pizza. As she returns inside, she reassures herself that nothing is wrong, and when 911 calls back, she tells them it's a mistake. I must applaud her strength, however. She sits to eat her pizza that has actually been laced with sleeping dose and as her kidnappers have planned. She hears footsteps behind her and climbs the stairs around the house, only to faint in one of the rooms. She wakes up under the eclipse in a pentagram shape. Mr. and Mrs. Ullman, along with the delivery boy, who is actually their son, Victor, and a person they call Mother, who looks like a witch, enter in black robes. Mother slits her hands, pours her blood into the goat skull, then uses the blood to draw their occult signs on her stomach and then her face before pouring the blood into her mouth. She struggles and stabs the mother and tries to run away. She bumps into Victor and stabs him. She sees Megan's remains in the kitchen and she starts seeing Mother in her heart and she gets weak. Mrs. Ullman comes to meet her, telling her there is nothing she can do, but she throws a knife at her and runs out of the house. Mr. Ullman chases her and she asks him what they are doing to her. He tells her she is the chosen one, and even if she kills him, nothing will change, and she should accept the hymn. She decides to shoot herself in the head. The following day, the news record the strange eclipse and how it disappeared strangely. Samantha is seen at the movie's end of the hospital, and the nurse comments that she will be fine. She touches her belly and says, "Both of you," signifying that she is pregnant with probably the hymn. This movie actually hits me strangely. Irrespective of how I will say Samantha faced some unfortunate fate, I still can't rub off her involvement in what has happened to her. She saw several red flags and still stayed for some cash. Majorly, the only victim in the movie should be Megan, as she was careful enough not to die but eventually died. These cults exist, and no matter how we want to make them go extinct, they actually exist. Thanks for watching another Essential Recap. Please like and subscribe, and leave a comment what you'd like to see next.